Hi, this is Tom Rhodes. Please join me as I scour the four corners of the earth to bring you interesting and intelligent, funny people who will enrich your life with wisdom and laughter. I'll take you to Europe, Australia, all over America. I might take you to the peaks of Machu Picchu, the canals of Amsterdam, the Great Wall of China, or the swamps of Florida, and certainly the many, many comedy clubs and comedy theaters all over the world. Come hang out with me and meet the many interesting people that pop up in my life as I travel the world as a stand-up comedian.
You're listening to Tom Rhodes Radio.
Karate kick, baby.
Rock and roll.
Hello, Tom Rhodes.
Hello, Ashna Rojan. And hello, darling listeners, and welcome to Tom Rhodes Radio Smart Cam.
Welcome.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, let me start off real quick. I want to do just mention, I guess it's commercial. I went to the dentist. I haven't had a dentist in years, and I had a tooth fall apart, basically, that had to get crowned. So I had the second part of it done today. Dr. McConaughey. No, that's not it. I get fucked. McConaughey? Yeah, that's it.
Isn't that the actor?
Yeah, no, that's why I hesitated.
You're doing a commercial.
McConaughey.
You're doing a commercial for a doctor. You don't know his name.
Anyway, this guy's.
No, I know his name because I guess
the card is right behind you.
He's Armenian.
No, he's not Armenian. He's Persian.
Persian.
That's what I wanted to say. I haven't had.
McConaughey,
that's it.
Meredith McConaughey.
Dr. McConaughey on Wilshire Boulevard in Los Angeles if you need some dental work. This guy makes me happy because, first of all, he gives a good shot. You know, I think that's really important for a dentist. I had a dentist growing up. We had a family dentist in Oviedo, Dr. Pellerin, and this guy was an artist, the way he would give a shot. So that's what this guy is like. This guy, he knows how to give a shot. He's a great guy. But the reason I wanted to talk about him real quick is because I told him I was going to Europe for a month. And he said his sons are going to Sweden, Denmark, and Iceland for a month. And I asked them why. Why would you do that? He goes, why would you go to Europe for a month? America's the greatest country in the world. We have everything here. Better than Europe has to offer. Lake Tahoe, Yosemite, and the guy's going through, and he goes, and the attitudes towards Americans in Europe. You know, I've been there. I've been to Italy. I've been to France.
Really?
Really, like the guy, but again, he's not like in a disrespectful way, because I'm so like pro-Europe. Wish I was a European. Grew up in hot Florida in shorts and T-shirts and dreamed of wearing scarves and, you know.
Couldn't wait to get away.
Couldn't wait to sit in a cafe in Paris and read books that no one understands. But he's just so adamant about that he moved to America when he was 14 and he became a dentist and all of his dreams came true here and that he gives back to the community and just to, like now, like 50 years ago, right now, was the beginning of the Summer of Love in San Francisco in the United States. Now, today, 50 years later, it's the Summer of Hate. Everybody hates each other, Democrats, Republicans. There's just so much hatred in the world right now. And so to hear somebody like an immigrant speak so passionately, and especially an Iranian, you know, just about how great America is and that, you know, you can be whatever you want here. And just someone that, I mean, it was like my eyes were just, they couldn't have opened wider at everything this guy was saying. I mean, you know, I used to hear that kind of talk growing up, but you don't hear a lot of people anymore passionately talking about how great America is. You just hear, you know, everybody saying the other side is ruining the country.
But was it more of an insight, or was it more that you thought, oh, propaganda?
No.
Too much in my face? Or...
No. The guy was sincere. And like really he really felt in his heart that America had made him the man he is, and all of his dreams come true. And he said that this is like my third visit to the guy.
So what are you saying? We're canceling the trip?
That's it. We're going to go hang out in his backyard for the month of July.
Well, we have white teeth.
So anyway, just wanted to say that. It was really refreshing.
It was great because I remember the first time I went with you, you guys were it clicked enormously. And when we left, you said, "I love you" to him for the first time.
Well, he said you're like family. He said my patients are like family. So I said, I love you. Which reminds me of how awkward Dutch people are when you tell them that you love them.
I know.
I can't wait to get back to Holland.
You've got to stop, Dutchies.
No, but like friends of mine in Holland that I've known forever, and I know they love me, everything...
But nobody says it.
In their actions proves that they love me. But if you say you love them, say I love you to them, they act like you put a spider down their pants. Well, hey, European listeners, Ashna and I are coming over. I'm doing shows the whole month of July. July 7th, I'm in Paris. July 19th through 22, I'm in Amsterdam. Then we're going to be in Ireland. What is it? Jesus. Doing shows in Galway, July 27, 28, Dublin, 29 and 30, and then Oslo, Norway, August 1 through 5. Woo! So, come on over. I'll tell you I love you. Okay, so let's get down to business. Let's talk about the
saga.
The saga of our problem with our downstairs neighbor. First of all, I want to thank Brendan in New Orleans, who sent me an email offering to help with tenants' rights legal counsel. And then someone else tweeted to me some option for tenants' rights. But I thought it was great that the guy offered legal counsel. Again, shows you how cool our listeners are. That
yeah, super cool.
People have intelligent jobs and things. So when I got back on Sunday, we didn't talk about. I was so pissed off that they came to the door.
We didn't tell our podcast listeners that, right? That they came Saturday.
Maybe not. No. Okay. So yes.
Because when did we record the last podcast?
Okay, you're right. It was last week. So they've missed all that. Okay. So I'm in Minneapolis. They came to the door. So Sunday night, I was like, I gotta take care of this. So we go downstairs and we meet them, and they're nice enough people. I'm glad that we went down because we discovered that they thought we were having a war. In their mind, they were having a noise war with us. And he said, I don't know if you noticed that I've banged on the ceiling a few times with a broomstick. I said, yes, actually, I've noticed 3 times. And I didn't realize this was the Bronx in 1952.
You were amazing. You were joking, but really looking serious at them. And, you were really like a man. You were handling it. You were talking like, nobody should talk right now. You're the only person who talks. You really, you took over the whole room. That was pretty cool.
It is. I mean, it's the great thing about not drinking and smoking pot all the time is that I'm clear-headed and I can talk about, the issue at hand.
Yeah, these people thought that we were having this huge war. So whenever I walked across the room, they thought that I was doing it on purpose.
Like you were stomping around on purpose. And, I told them, I told them how much we pay for rent, how much time I have to spend on the road, and that, it is...
To make the rent?
To make the rent, and that the rent is quite a burden. And I said, as I'm sure yours is as well. But I would expect when I'm home, I can walk across the room without security coming, because that's the thing. There's a number for the building, and you have to. It says press 1 for an emergency, and that's to get the security people, and 2 for the office number. So that was the thing, that these people are pressing one. They're claiming that me walking in my socks is an emergency. So they came Saturday night with the security guard, and you talked to them.
I talked to them. I don't remember if I told this story, but I was so pissed. So when I opened the door, I had a really relaxed day. You know, I was reading a book, and then I made some dinner. And while I was eating my dinner, I just started eating my dinner. They knocked on my door. Security guy plus the 2 neighbors.
Yeah.
So
and it's
I had to open the door, right? Because it's the security guy. It's not that I think, oh, I got all the freedom, fuck them, right? So I was pissed because that day I was so quiet that it was not possible that I made any noise.
No, but that's the thing. It keeps happening over and over. And that's why I had to go down and talk to them on Sunday, which I didn't.
So I met them first.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me tell this story.
I think yeah.
So I was so pissed that I started to fight with them a little bit. And I could tell that they had the attitude that I was doing things on purpose. And in their war, in their head, we were having this big war. And the only thing that I kept on saying is, look, you're harassing me right now. I feel stalked. I feel harassed. I'm home on a Saturday evening. Why are you at my door for me walking across the room? Yeah, you're stomping, you know?
Right, well, that's the thing. They keep saying we're stomping over and over. Every time they are calling security saying we're stomping every time. So,
and I got so pissed off because I said, no, I'm not stomping. And then she would say, you're lying, right?
Right, and then
the guy was saying things like, oh, you stalking, that is litigious, whatever. You know, you're talking about court cases, something like that. And I said, no, you're not letting me speak. He was not letting me speak, right? He was interrupting me every sentence, and I just got more pissed and more pissed. And then took a look at the security guy, and I'm thinking, oh, poor security guy. Let me just calm down, right? So I calmed a little bit down. I said, okay, let me just talk here, right? So I said it really slow, and then I let them speak. And then he was talking about irrelevant things like, well, I've been living in a building, and for 6 years, I've never had any complaint. And then I thought, but that's not this building, right? Correct? This is not this building, correct?
Right, you didn't say that. You were thinking that.
I said that.
Oh, you did? Oh.
I said it like, right, because he interrupted me all the time. So I said, you know, right when he said that, I said, not this building, correct? To be really short, right?
Right.
And then he said, no. I said, okay. And I let him speak. And then when he was finished, I said, okay, great, but not this building. Okay, great. Well, good for you that you never had any complaints from other buildings, right?
Yeah. So I thought we could handle this through the office people.
And but wait, I'm not finished. Okay. And then what is funny is that so we were talking. I was getting a little bit more calm, and you know, one time I even said, "Let me speak, sir." You know, even though I thought I was the most grown up there. Then I thought, okay, maybe it's not me, because the girl was saying that I was wearing high heels, and I don't wear high heels in the house. So I opened my door, and he said in the beginning he was a writer, he's home a lot, right? I opened the door, and I point, is this living room like your living room? Is it exactly like this, where you have the wall starting from here, blah, 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 blah? And then he saw all the books. And he just said, whoa, that's a lot of books. And then right after that, I think they were more nice. They're nicer to me, you know? Because now I had content. Now I was somebody. Now they thought, oh, this is a decent person. She wouldn't start a war with us.
Right. And
because when I just opened the door, I was just, you know, this brown immigrant girl in really stupid pajama clothes. My hair was not combed and no makeup, you know?
But this building is full of like snooty actresses and like kind of Eastern European models, or who knows, maybe they're escorts, who knows? But the thing in the building is, I think we've said before, is you and I say hi to everybody, and nobody says hi. It's weird because, I'm from the South. People say hello. It's just a courteous thing. So it's really bizarre. I think we're pretty nice, friendly people. And then the thing that upset me, I thought we could deal with this through the office, was, so what I was saying is, his neighbors aren't some bimbo actress girls with big collagen lips that he's dealing with. We are adults. We're decent people. We're readers. We're intelligent.
So after he saw,
you don't need to come up and yell at anybody.
Right?
You can talk like
happened.
Civilized human beings.
That's exactly what happened. He saw the living room. He saw the books, and they calmed down, and the whole conversation changed. They were super nice. They were laughing a little bit, and we worked it out. And then the security guy said, "You know what? Let's talk tomorrow or Monday when the husband is back. You really like the husband. He's a really cool guy." So that was funny.
So the thing that pissed me off is while I'm gone out of town, these people coming, aside they've been harassing us with these noise complaints.
Especially harassing me.
I'm out of town. They come to the door. You say you're not stomping. They say you're lying. If you come to the door and call my wife a liar, now we got a really big problem on our hands. So that's why Sunday night we went down to meet them and talk to them. And they're decent people, and they realized
that we were not having a war with them.
And we're not. They were the only ones having a war,
yeah.
And we weren't. And I told them, I swear to Jesus, Buddha, Allah, whoever you want, we have not stomped once or ever, and not even out of spite. And I told them, thankfully, I'm dealing with this now and not 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I would have bought a pogo stick and jumped rope when I woke up in the morning. Anything to drive these people apeshit. But we've been very calm and very patient. And then I even mentioned to them, the first week of May, they complained twice. And my mother was visiting, and she goes to bed at 9 p.m. And you and I were tiptoeing around the apartment. And then last Monday when I was home, I flew home Monday morning. I had a meeting that afternoon, and then had time to do laundry. I got one night with my chick, and then I got to fly out the next morning. They made a complaint. The security guard came to our door that night. And then next door, there was construction until 9 p.m., and we can see on the balcony next to them, their neighbor is smoking pot, listening to hip hop. And I mentioned that to the guy, and he goes, "Yeah, well, pot doesn't bother me because I was hoping to get a contact high." So he's not, it's funny. I'm mentioning all these times that they've complained, and then he does the aside that he hopes to get a contact high. And then this is Sunday when we were talking. He mentioned that old place that he lived. And he said he had a problem with some neighbor, and I fucked him up, and the cops dragged him out of there, and he was begging the cops to take him out of there. And I'm just sitting there listening, and I'm thinking to myself, veiled threat, okay, mentioning violence to a neighbor, all these things that he mentioned that had nothing to do with the problem at hand. That we don't wear shoes in the house, we walk, every move we make, we're conscious of these people. We're not even watching the TV loud, and we're walking softly, and they're still calling the friggin' thing.
That's why I was pissed off when they knocked on the door that Saturday, because I was particularly very quiet, especially that day, because it was I didn't work that day.
Since their first complaint, we have been walking around tiptoeing like cats, so as not to disturb these people, and they think we're stomping around out of spite and anger and some war with them. So I said, this is what we're going to do. Tomorrow, and he was a nice guy. He let me play his Kiss pinball machine, and he was impressed that my first ball was in the gutter, and I still scored 200,000 points. He was very impressed by my pinball prowess, but
That's because the first night, that Saturday night, they hear that you were a comedian from somebody who shouldn't have told them.
Yeah.
And then I think they Googled you. They Googled us because it's very easy.
Maybe they're listening to this podcast.
So they Googled both of us.
Right.
When we came downstairs, I think he already knew. Because he was talking about sitcoms, and then he said, this must be material for you. You're a comedian, right?
He said one day I'll get a sitcom and I could own the building. But I had a sitcom 20 years ago, and I know it doesn't work like that.
But then we looked at each other and thought, shit, how does he know that you're a comedian?
Yeah, I was pretty shocked to find out that he knew I was a comedian. So obviously the security guard told him. But, you know, they're decent enough people. It's good that we talked to them. But I said, this is what we're going to do. Because, you know, I pay an exorbitant amount of rent, and I should be allowed to enjoy the minimal amount of time a month that I'm home. I should be able to walk from one room to the other. So I said, we're going to go to the office tomorrow. And I said, what time are you here? What time are you home tomorrow? We made an appointment for 2. I said, we'll get the office people. We'll go, you know, they'll go to your apartment. We'll go to ours. We'll do. So it was really smart what we did. You and I, you took the manager of the building to our apartment, and I went with the other woman and the maintenance fix-it guy down to his apartment, and you or I were on FaceTime. And we demonstrated, you said, okay, this is normal walking. Do you hear anything? You could hear some light squeaking, like happens in any building, but it didn't sound like stomping. And then the building manager, she had high heels on, then she walked with high heels, and yes, it certainly sounded like somebody with high heels on. And then you demonstrated stomping. Oh yeah, sure, clearly you could hear that. But the regular walking that we always do was certainly no reason to call security.
And this was my time, because the whole conversation has been from the beginning was, is it stomping or not? And that was my moment. We discovered right at that time that it was not stomping. It was just squeaking.
Yeah.
So we went back downstairs. Everybody was standing in a circle, and it was obvious that we were already a little bit beyond the fight, and we were trying to make things up and trying to find a solution. But I just got so pissed because this was my moment. Finally, we had experiment. You know, we put up an experiment.
A demonstration.
The demonstration. Clearly, the conclusion was, I didn't stomp all this time. So this guy is crazy, you know. So I thought, wait a minute, I need to talk about this. And everybody's talking about a solution. Right.
Well, at that point, he realized his problem is with the building.
Yeah.
And then now his fight goes to, the management or whatever. But, you know, like they told us, the building is code. It was approved by whatever inspectors. There's nothing you can do. I mean, if people live above you and in a building, you're going to hear noises. You're going to hear squeaking at least. But it was only some squeaking noises in certain areas when you walked around.
So the whole conversation that moment turned into so nobody said stomping anymore. Everybody said squeaking.
Yeah.
And I just got more and more angry because everybody thought, oh, that's what it's about. It's about the squeaking. That's the whole problem. Is this normal, this squeaking? And I'm still at the phase before in the fight. I'm thinking, wait a minute. I need some credit here. I was not stomping.
Yeah.
You know, I need from you guys to hear.
To be acknowledged.
Yeah, to be acknowledged. It was so childish, really childish. And I thought, man, these people are now talking about squeaking, and I had to endure all this week being accused of stamping, right? And nobody's acknowledging right now that I fucking won a case, you know?
Yeah, or that you've been hassled unnecessarily,
right?
For walking from. And I told the guy, I said, you know, at 2 a.m, because your apartment has the exact same layout as ours. We're just above you. I said, you know, we're never going to not go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
We're human beings. We're going to have to walk. Your bathroom is in the same place that our bathroom is. And if you hear some squeaking, that is the building.
So I think one moment I kind of grabbed the situation and said very friendly, I do notice that your complaint went from stomping to squeaking, and just to get that thing out of my system.
Yeah.
And I think also I wanted to make sure that he get the point that this was about my freedom. I wanted to be free to do whatever I want to do during the day, and also considering not making absurd noise, what I'm saying, but just have my freedom. So I made sure that I had those 2 points across. But to conclude to you listeners is what I said in the last podcast. I said, you should handle it is like Seneca. You should do this
with
stylish.
Style.
You should do it with style. Well, when it happens to you, it's super difficult because one, I got pissed when they came Saturday at my door. Second, when everybody was talking about solution, I wanted to be acknowledged at that moment. So I learned a lot from this fight, and knowing that, man, I should really
no, you did
contain myself.
You did deal with it with style, and the fact that not once did we stomp around out of like, well, fuck these people. That never, and that's why I'm saying 10 years ago, I would have. 10 years ago, I'd have said, well, fuck these people. And I would have made all kinds of different noise. I would have invented ways to drive these people apeshit. The fact that we kept calm, didn't do anything spiteful, and we just lived our normal life. But, we were overly doing it, walking softly, and they're still, so now the missing piece of the puzzle we learn is they're down there all pissed off thinking we're assholes when they were exclusively the one and only assholes.
Yeah.
And we were the nice people. So we did do like Seneca and have style. And I just want to say one last thing about this issue. I don't know if you have anything else to add, but, the guy said it several times to us on Sunday, and then he said it several times to the management. This is supposed to be luxury apartments. This is supposed to be luxury apartments. And so, I kind of did a double take, and I kept my mouth shut, and I will express to you now what I was thinking. You can drive around Los Angeles, and there is apartment buildings all over the place that say luxury apartments. That is just a word. And you can slap it on anything you want. This building, there's not mink carpet on the floor. I mean, there's a nice gym, but this building is a normal apartment building. This isn't luxury apartment. We got a fake fireplace. That's not luxury, the thing that I wanted to say is, so many times in my comedy career, they said a limousine will pick you up from the airport, and you get to the airport, and it is a van with the word limousine on the side.
Nice.
It has the word limousine on the side, but it's a fucking van. So just the fact that through whatever sign out front at the leasing office says luxury apartments, there's shitholes all over Los Angeles that say luxury apartments. This building is like 30 years old. I think the luxury may have worn off.
It's not protected word.
Yeah.
Funny.
So, that was it.
The only thing I wanted to say is I just wished I handled it with a bit more style, knowing myself that I can really handle my emotions in fights. But that day I didn't, and then I wanted to be acknowledged. I mean, I find it so childish of me, I don't know why I wanted that, but
no, I think you did great. And then that night when I spoke to you on the phone, well, you sent me the text message, and I was still at the club, and you should have seen how fast I walked back to the hotel, and I was like, oh, dude, what the fuck, these people. And so you told me it started out as an argument, and then it ended smoothly.
Yeah, I just wish that.
I think you handled yourself like an adult.
I don't know, because in the last podcast I kept on saying I'm just gonna admit everything and then just say, Yes, but you can only complain from 11 to 7. And I wish that I just had repeated that in my head, meaning like, okay, what? And played it like a chess game, because I don't do that. I should do it a little bit more. Like play it like a chess game, thinking about it, thinking about, okay, what if they come knock on the door? What am I going to do? Because I didn't even think about it anymore. So if I thought about, okay...
Your mace is in the basket, right?
No, what should I do when they come to the door? Okay, they're going to complain, so I just should keep saying the same thing. Keep saying the same thing. If I just thought about that for maybe, 30 seconds, if I had planted that thought in my head, I would have been more mature at that conversation. But I didn't think about it too much. So when the moment happened, I panicked a bit. I thought, oh my God, they're again at the door. Should I open? Oh my God, let me get a shirt. I grabbed the shirt real quick, looked in the mirror. Oh my God, I look like crap. But they're waiting, so a lot of other things went through my head. So I didn't really prepare for the whole conversation that followed after that. When I opened the door, I also felt a huge attack because there were 3 people standing
at your door
in front of my
door
on a Saturday, and me by myself in my vulnerable self, and so that was also something that I didn't think about that would happen, and that also gave me fear and arousal and thinking I should protect myself. So all these emotions went through my head, and I just leashed it out, Yeah. So
I think you did great, babe. And then you were very mature on Sunday when we talked to them, and on Monday as well. And we kept expressing that we have simply only been walking around in socks and barefoot, and that they are the ones who were in the wrong every moment and every time that they complained over, So, I mean...
The good thing is that we really know the manager better. And I really like these girls, these ladies. They're so beautiful. They're so professional. They're so great in what they do.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Memaintenance
don't say
guy?
Names.
Oh,
okay,
sorry.
Yeah.
The maintenance guy. He was so smooth. This, he's, Mexican-American Los Angeles person guy. Uh-huh. His diplomacy... and smoothness, this guy should negotiate the Israel-Palestinian American Republican Democratic peace talks. This guy was just so smooth and cheerful. I was really impressed by that.
And making him the responsible person. He says,
yeah.
This is what happening with you guys. This is what happening to you guys. That's where I come in this story, because I can check the floor. So he was promising something.
Yeah, he said we can come and inspect this floor, and if it's not proper code padding, we can
solve it.
Yeah.
So
everything he was talking about was a solution.
Was a solution, but also a beautiful promise. A promise to a beautiful land. A promise for everything is going to be peaceful and everything is going to be green and everything.
Wouldn't it be
perfect,
funny?
But without actually promising it. So he gave us a lot of hope, knowing in his head that he's never going to call those floral people. Do you know what I'm saying? That's such a great mediator.
Yeah, because they'll probably move to a different apartment, and I advised them. When he said to me, he goes, "Wouldn't that bother you?" And I said, "Yeah." I told my wife when we moved into the apartment that my only criterion was that we had to be on the top floor, because I've lived in apartment buildings my whole life, and I never want to live with anyone over me ever again, because that's what living in an apartment building is like. But what I was going to say is, wouldn't it be great if you and I named a son Jefferson, and then when people said to us, "Did you name your son after Thomas Jefferson?" And then I'd go, "No, after our Mexican maintenance guy."
Because he was our hero.
That'd be cool. Hey, and I forgot to mention one thing about the visit to the dentist that I wanted to mention. It's interesting that with all of our technology in the world, they still can't make quiet dental equipment. This was the point the whole reason I brought up the dentist. So no matter how great a dentist is, you still got zzz, zzz, that sound, right? I mean, that sound is like so bothersome. So there was some pain and discomfort while the dude was working on my tooth. But you know what thought popped into my head that made me feel better? Otto Warmbier had it worse being treated by the North Koreans.
Oh my God.
Isn't that funny that popped into my head? I thought, wow, imagine what Otto Warmbier went through.
Oh, that story makes me so sad.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. Okay, so let's talk about happier things. We went to see Wonder Woman last night.
Yes.
What'd you think?
Oh my God, it was so cool. I would say the story was okay, right? The story is okay. But just that woman, Gal Gadot.
Holy
crap, she's so good. She's such a great actress.
She's so beautiful.
She's carrying that whole movie.
Yeah, everything. Her skin, her teeth. There's just some shots of her like just smiling, or like when she's fighting and she's got an open mouth. I don't know, like just her teeth are beautiful. Everything, her hair,
her smile. But I was more talking about the way that she portrayed the Wonder Woman, because usually it is like what's it, Lara Croft?
Lara Croft.
The girls are more like manly and they're very bossy looking and all that stuff. And she was so vulnerable. She was really authentic.
She was a
woman.
I like that she was an innocent creature from this island, and that men and war was a foreign concept to her.
Yes, also I like the way that she used little tiny things to make her human and a woman and authentic. For example, she saw a baby, and then the actress, in her really cool own authentic way, she said, "Oh,
a baby!"
Yeah. And just the way she is, that's what she used in her acting. You could just tell, oh my God, this woman is so amazing. You know?
Yeah, well, I grew up when I was a kid in the 70s, I guess late 70s, early 80s, was the Wonder Woman TV show with Linda Carter. And, God bless her, Linda Carter, very voluptuous, beautiful woman. But that show was basically just, to get your dick hard. It was like, here's this big-tittied woman in this really skimpy outfit jumping around, and she's flying in her invisible jet, and she had these little tiny bracelets that deflected bullets. I like this Wonder Woman's got like elbow to wrist length, where you could really combat some bullets. But hey, when she's charging that German trenches in World War I, her legs were exposed. I think she probably would have got a stray bullet on her legs, but anyway. No,
she had high boots on. I checked.
No, but she was so, before Wonder Woman was just, the women have never really had a great superhero, because even Wonder Woman was
sexualized?
Just sexualized. It was more like she was like a pinup girl.
Yeah.
And I think that's how she was conceived when was like in World War II. The pinup girls were popular. I think that was somewhere the inspiration for her. Well, just some big-tittied, voluptuous woman in a tight little outfit.
Oh, the old Wonder Woman, right?
The old Wonder Woman. Yeah. This was great. So she was, like you said, she was vulnerable. She was feminine, but
human,
still
authentic.
Couldn't understand the human concept of war. And this, they got mustard gas. Women and children are every time they mentioned women or children dying, she had just like this shocked look on her face.
Yeah, I love that.
The concept of who would do such a thing.
Yeah, but just the way that her face is, just the way she looks and how she reacts on things, and it's just beautiful. And you see that she reacts in 1,000 words. So it's not like the old Wonder Woman female heroes that they have to be so cold as stone and whatever.
And then they go to Belgium. She wants to go to the front and fight. and you noticed that they were speaking Dutch.
Oh, that was so cool.
And they're in this little, northern Flemish village, and she takes on all these Germans, and there's a sniper up in the bell tower of the church, and she goes up there and then kills the guy, and then the top of the church thing falls off, and then she stands there. It's like the symbolism for me said that woman, she's the new church. No, you didn't get it, did you?
Yeah, she's the mother of mothers.
Yeah, this is the new church, womanhood.
Yeah, I love
strong
that.
Female.
And I love that when she walked into that room full of men, that she stood like this with her arms on her side. Just listen to what everybody had to say. I love that because I think if, in a general situation like that, if a woman comes into a room full of guys, it takes some brave heart to feel like this and to stand like this, And then it kind of inspired me thinking, yeah, we female, we should own our shit.
Yeah, but it was nice how they also touched on that era for women where women couldn't vote, and then all those generals were deciding on the war, and then they're like, who would let a woman in here?
Yeah.
Like women weren't even allowed in important decision-making rooms. Women were like second-class citizens then.
Every time somebody said or looked at her, what was she doing? She looked at him and she draw a face like, what are you talking about? Excuse me. And I think she was perfectly cast because her face just, told the whole story, saying, who are you to say anything about me, And that's what I mean about, I love that they casted her. She's super cool. She's beautiful, and she really had a lot of she reminded me a little bit of Sarah Silverman, like this mischievous smile, like one-sided.
The crooked smile.
The crooked smile, yeah. I like that. She had that too.
Everything about her, like you said, she carried the whole film. Her lips, her nose.
But also who she is,
Who she is, and she's got like a Israeli accent. Everything about that woman, she's
her whole attitude, and I think it had a lot to do with that she is not an American, grew up in this culture, especially LA. So she brought that culture, her own culture, in the movie, and I think that's part of the magic, because she's just thinking, I'm gonna own this role. I'm gonna put so much of myself in this role as much as I can. That's what you should do as an actor, right?
Yeah.
So and that's what she did, because a lot of actors, especially in LA, because you live in LA in the acting world, you kind of fall in this acting tendency. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, what do you mean? By just fakeness?
Like, okay, so when we did At Midnight, I'm sorry, the storytelling part.
This is not happening.
This is not happening. We saw this really funny movie, funny, scary B movie, I guess. I don't know if it's a B movie or not, but I enjoyed it a lot.
Oh, Jay Larson.
Jay Larson.
It was in The Invitation, which was probably one of the worst movies ever made. But we thought
that bad.
We thought he was wonderful.
And
we thought his authenticity was great. So now I understand what you're saying, because like a lot of the other actors were kind of like, they seemed like they were acting, and he just had this really
authentic
thing about him.
Because obviously he wasn't an actor all his life. He's a storyteller. He's a comedian. So that's what he does. He's an authentic storyteller. And all the other people in that movie, they grew up with acting. So they have a certain attitude when they act. That's what I mean. So you can see it in their acting that they're half acting. And what makes acting very good is that you put yourself in it.
Well, I think, and then at the very beginning of the movie, Robin Wright is in it.
Yeah.
Who's in House of Cards. And then I can never forget, because it was my sister's favorite movie, The Princess Bride. She was the young princess in that. She's had such a great career. I think it's worth the price of admission I mean, just to watch Gal Gadot for the entire movie. But there's this one scene at the beginning of the movie where the Germans hit the beach and all the women come on their horses and they're fighting. And Robin Wright, there's 3 guys behind a rock shooting machine guns. She takes 3 arrows out of her quiver and sticks it in the sand.
But the way she sticks it in the sand, that's the moment, man.
That's so pimp, man. She sticks these 3 arrows in the sand and she jumps up and she grabs all 3 arrows out of the sand and pulls her bow back and she lets go and each arrow goes into each German and they die. And that one cinematic feat was worth the price of admission.
And oh my God, what about those stupid cool cakes that they made? We were walking home and I was doing those cakes on the street. It was super cool. Can you describe
that, that kind of sliding low roll kick, which I think has been overdone in action movies.
But not the way they filmed this one. Yeah. It's super nice filmed. It's slow motion and, you know, you're already loving Gal Gadot and then you see her doing the slide kick. You think, oh my God, now I know how all these young boys felt when they watched Karate Kid.
Yeah. Well,
right?
yeah, it's true. No, it's great that women and girls can delight in finally a female ass-kicking action hero
who is beautiful, who is sweet, who is human, and who is a fighter, who is brave, feels equal, feels, you know, that she has her every right to be there as everybody else. Yeah, and that's great because we women, ladies, young girls, should grow up with role models like that. And movie is so important. Television is so important. If more movies like that
influences your whole life,
would be made, it's gonna be doing very good things for
women and their self-esteem.
Self-esteem.
For self-confidence and, you know, learning, intelligence, and achieving. I agree. God, there was some thought that was on the tip of my brain. What was it? Oh, and Lucy Davis, who I did At Midnight with, was brilliant.
Yeah, she was great.
I had some other thought about the woman being... that was it. She's in the boat with the guy going back to civilization because she wants to go to the front. Diana, the Wonder Woman. And the guy is uncomfortable sleeping next to her, and then he asks her if she knows about, you know, men and women being together. And she said she read this 12-volume book. That was it. There was these subtle messages in it for women and girls. And she said that she knew that men were important for procreation, but that when it came to pleasure, men rarely provided women with pleasure. That they were good for making babies. But I thought, wow, that was a subtle, powerful statement.
Yeah. Any more?
No, that was it. There's like just things like that. Like when he's in the bath, he gets out, and she's obviously looking at his dick, and she says, "Are you a normal person?" He says, "I'm above average." And I was like, wow, this is, there's going to be people bringing their kids to this. It's like, and then it turns out there's a slide trick where he shows her the watch his dad gave him or some shit like that. But, you know, she'd never seen a man before.
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting the way they addressed that.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was great that you could really tell that a woman directed it because the interaction between a man and the female in the movie is equal. You could not tell that anybody in the movie, the characters in the movie, was mocking any girls, sexualizing any women, because that happens a lot without you even realizing. Yeah. You know, so that I really like that part as well.
Well, you know, I'm pretty over superhero movies. I mean, the great thing about my wife, Ashna, is she loves any movie where cities are being destroyed. So it's funny that you love like action movies like that, where like cities get destroyed and like.
Yeah, but my favorites are dramas. I really like dramas.
Yeah. But like, but you know, for someone who's very critical of action movies, of everything that this movie stood for, but I mean that's the liberal left wing cream puff that I am. That's of course that's going to be my opinion. That I just love the way that it was a strong ass kicking hero for girls and women to look up to, you know, and not some like red booted slut like the 70s.
Slutty dressed, you mean?
Yeah, like the TV show from the 70s, the Linda Carter thing, who, God bless her, is probably a wonderful human being. Yeah, you're too young. You don't remember it.
No.
And Lucy Davis was in Wonder Woman, who she was in the original Office, the British version, with Ricky Gervais, which I just think is one of the best comedies ever made. And then she did At Midnight with Me a few weeks ago, and I thought she was outstanding. I'm cheering for her every time she comes on the screen.
I love her face.
Because I met her. Remember how we hung out with her afterwards, after we filmed At Midnight? Just what a genuine sweetheart. And then her and I did this. I reached out to her to ask her to do this podcast. She couldn't do it this week, but hopefully we'll get to do it in the future. I want to talk with her about comedy. I'm sorry, of course comedy. Her dad was a comedian. No, about history, because someone had asked us, we did some online interview thing together, and they asked us if you had a time machine, would you want to go backwards in time or forward? And I said, oh, forward all the way. The past is just dirty fingernails and bad breath. And she said she would love to go back to the Plantagenet period in England, that there was great honor. So she's like a huge history buff. So anyway, I really like her.
I like that she's also a very good example of actors putting their authentic selves in the role, because the way she was talking and doing her things in the role was exactly how she is in real life.
Yeah, like really just sweet and sincere. And you know, did you ever see The Office? She was just really. There was just. No,
I haven't.
Like, oh God, like kind of, like I don't like. Nervous is the wrong word. Maybe like she was just kind of like this insecure person, but just at the same time really sweet and lovable, if that's possible. Like just the duality of the character that she portrayed. And then now it's great to see her in this like big blockbuster movie being like the kind of silly but intelligent at the same time. She does this dual personality character thing very well.
Yeah, she's great. I think another thing what should be pointed out from the movie is that it's a really weird. There's some weird situations because she's Wonder Woman. She has a sword and a shield, and this is World War II. And then she just walks on the street with those things. It's a weird thing. How are the people going to react when they see a sword, right? So I think that the storyteller, it was not even discussed. I think Lucy Davis' character just said, okay, you're not gonna need that, you can give it to me, and then they give it to her, and then she does something with it, she protects it or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was not even discussed, it was absurd. What are you doing with a sword in, 1940?
Well, I thought that was
Germany?
bizarre, because here's Wonder Woman, who's never been in civilization before. She's only been around her trusting female family of female warriors back on the island, and here's a complete stranger that she's now going to give her sword and her shield to.
Yeah.
That I thought was but whatever.
That was a little bit, that was one moment, but I like that they just avoided the whole.
Because I wouldn't trust anybody with anything.
Yeah, but I like that you just ignored this whole ordeal with how are we gonna make this normal, They just said, you know what, let's not address it. Just follow the story.
Right.
I like that part too.
Cool. So, do you have any other happy stories in closing? I wanted to. Can you hand me that old person magazine that you dislike so much?
The New Yorker, the Harper. No.
Yeah. No, don't say the name of it. I'm embarrassed. We got a free.
We got like tons of free prescriptions.
We got lots of free magazines because you had to cash in your miles
that I couldn't use for anything else.
So
you always ask me, so do you have anything else to what you want to say?
That's my way of covering my own ass.
Yeah, well, this is.
You know what that translates to? It means I've run out of things to say. Please help. Maybe I'll just say that outright now from now on.
Yeah.
My darling Smoochie, I've run out of interesting things to say. Please help.
Exactly. I like it so much better.
So the Summer of Love was 50 years ago, and there's a lot of hoopla about it. And like I said, now it's the Summer of Hate. But there's this big story. I read in a couple different magazines about the Summer of Love. I lived a few blocks from Haight-Ashbury. Well, Haight-Ashbury, no, more than a few. Like 10, 15 blocks. When I lived in San Francisco, I lived on Alamo Square Park on Fulton and Pierce. So Haight and Ashbury, where the Summer of Love started, you know, it was over by October. It was just a few months, but like 100,000 young people from all over the United States made their way to the Haight-Ashbury, the Haight Street, because that's where all the hippies were and free love and.
But isn't it funny? It's called the Haight Street. Can you say hate and hate?
Well, it's actually a name. It's Haight.
So say it.
Hate.
And say Hate.
Hate. They're pronounced the same.
The same, right? Isn't that weird?
Yeah. So yeah. But now we're in
the Summer of Love on Haight Street.
Yeah. Okay. So in this Old People magazine, it is
Old People magazine.
It's funny. It came with a card in the middle to apply for AARP, which is the Senior Citizen Club, whatever, where you get like packets of coupons and shit. Anyway, so in this Old People magazine, it's all about the Summer of Love. And I was born in January 67. So in June 67, the Summer of Love started. So in this magazine, it talks about, you know, these hippies are trying to take credit for the internet. They're saying that, and Facebook, that was born in this. Whoever is being interviewed in this story, they're saying that, yeah, it was that idea that it wasn't just LSD and sex and drugs and free love. It was also about community and this sweet sense of like a community being together. And that's really what like Facebook is now. That it was the idea for Facebook. And I'm reading this and I'm thinking, you took too much fucking LSD in 1967 if you think anything on the internet came out of your barefoot, dirty toes getting fucked in the bushes in Golden Gate Park. Spawned to any part.
Tom, you sound like an angry Republican.
No, I'm just like, you know, I believe in, you know, being on a journey and took copious amounts of drugs in San Francisco. But anyway, I think it's a little self-aggrandizing, giving yourself too much credit.
Okay,
to think that the hippies in San Francisco started Facebook and the internet. I think it's...
Well, if you draw the link between them, it's a good comparison that Facebook is going to has also the dark side. Because that what is it called? Haight-Ashbury experiment, or that period, ended very bad because people started to steal stuff.
Yeah, people came to like rob the vulnerable kids, and then also to have sex with vulnerable kids who were too whacked.
They took advantage.
Yeah, who were too whacked out on drugs to whatever consent.
So I think the same thing is for Facebook. It is should be a website where you share things, but you can also share hateful things, and you know that community is very difficult to keep peace in it.
Well, you can have that sharing, loving, communal attitude. Just be aware that, you know, there's a lot of rotten bastards who are trying to get their fingers into your pie or other sticky pudding substances. So, and then there's the story about the Beatles came to San Francisco in the summer of love in like August, I think, 67, because they walked like 3 blocks and thought, man, there's nothing cool here. There's like, they were being mobbed for their celebrity, and they thought it was like very uncool, and they had gone there hoping to find some really special thing, and then couldn't get out of there fast enough.
Right.
So anyway, it's interesting in this Old People magazine that it's, you know, they've finally written about drugs because it's the anniversary of the Summer of Love. But so here is what I wanted to share with you. The astonishing catalog of memorable songs that marked the summer of 67. Good Vibrations by the Beach Boys. I never liked the Beach Boys.
How does that go?
Good vibrations.
I don't know that song.
Always hated the Beach Boys.
There's another song that's called Good Vibration.
No, that's it. That's maybe, I don't know, but that's the one they're talking about. Probably Bob Dylan's greatest song, Like a Rolling Stone.
Oh, I love that song.
Yeah.
Like a rolling.
Once upon a time, you threw the bums a dime in your prime, didn't you?
Oh my god, I love that song so much.
Yeah.
Do you?
White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane, Bad Moon Rising by Creedence Clearwater Revival, Light My Fire by The Doors,
Light My Fire,
which is a great song. Jim Morrison was all drugged out and he was away, and the band members sold it to Chevrolet for a car commercial, and he lost his mind. And then they killed the car commercial idea. But great song. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, which is funny. That's what I call Facebook.
What do you mean?
Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. It's it's the Lonely Hearts Club.
That's brilliant.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to share you. We don't have a book to talk about this week. I'm still reading the Paris book, the biography of a city. It's funny because I'm reading about these kings and this development of Paris, and I'd rather read about modern history of Paris with
Macron?
Well, the terrorism, Macron, the rise of Le Pen. I'm making my way through this, but
well, there are a lot of French philosophers alive, right?
Yes.
Or authors. I think they talk about it.
Yeah. No, I'm making my way through it.
Yeah.
I got good summer reading.
Cool.
So, because we don't have a book to talk about, Ashna and I want to talk about. We love this magazine called The Week. And a fan of mine actually turned this on to me like 10 years ago.
And this is what we read.
This girl in Rochester, New York, gave me the magazine and said, I thought you would like this.
So we don't watch a lot of... Well, Tom watches some news, but I don't watch news networks. I watch PBS.
PBS NewsHour. We love Brooks and Shield every Friday.
Oh my god, they're so cool. They are the intelligent... Bert and Ernie.
Yeah.
And I read The Week. I try to read The Atlantic. And the Dutch news. It's kind of the Dutch PBS.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you look at the Dutch news websites all the time. You find things on there that sometimes aren't covered in the American media.
Yeah, it's more neutral and objective.
It's like I have a secret agent spy as a wife who's reading
I love
European news sources. I like it. And I look at The Guardian for the intelligent left-wing perspective, and then when I can steal them free from the Delta first-class lounge or in hotels, I read the Wall Street Journal for the intelligent right-wing perspective.
And I love the Washington Post.
Yeah, Washington Post is...
They are our freedom...
fighters.
Fighters, yeah.
Yeah, and the Washington Post for
like
my family from Washington, D.C. was always like the Bible.
Washington Post was?
The Washington Post, yeah.
Cool.
I told you that.
I like it. I compare it to Jean d'Arc.
And I have 2 friends that write for the Washington Post.
Yeah. They really stand by their actions when it comes to
government dangerous or something. You
Integrity.
Know, integrity,
Yeah.
they're very integer.
Journalistic integrity. So in the week, there's always this. There's a great breakdown of the news, and they give you like left and right wing perspectives on everything. There's a great section in the back about properties for sale of houses, like this week's houses like castles, and then it'll be like, you know, homes with basketball courts inside, homes in New England. There's always like a different slant on, and it's just, anyway, there's so many breakdown of entertainment, United States news, European news, but there's this one little sidebar where they always have quotes. So Ashna and I would like to read a couple quotes for you. Okay, so this quote is from your favorite philosopher, Alain de Botton.
Oh my God.
If we are not regularly deeply embarrassed by who we are, the journey to self-knowledge hasn't begun.
He's so witty, isn't he?
It's great. I like to see this page. Now, the top three quotes are from Voltaire, Oscar Wilde, and Alain de Botton. So, obviously, a Tom Rhodes clone is editing this magazine.
Okay, now it's my turn.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
One man's dirty trick is another man's civic participation.
Who said that?
Political strategist Roger Stone, quoted in the San Antonio Express News.
Wow, I like it. Okay, this is from Voltaire. Doubt is not a pleasant condition, but certainly is absurd.
That's so right.
So Voltaire. Okay, no.
Is it?
Yeah. No,
Why you say that?
He's everything he said was like in a smart ass kind of
Smart ass, badass,
righteous
smart
way.
ass. Oh, I am again. Okay. Because hypocrisy stinks in the nostrils, one is likely to rate it as a more powerful agent for destruction than it is.
It's powerful in the nostrils?
Should I say it again?
Let's read it again.
Because hypocrisy stinks in the nostrils, one is likely to rate it as a more powerful agent for destruction than it is.
Wow. To rate it.
Yeah. Rate it.
Wow.
Rebecca West quoted in hypoallergic.com. That's the fun, right? That's the joke.
Okay, this is, here's Oscar Wilde quoted in theguardian.com. The only thing to do with good advice is to pass it on. It is never of any use to oneself.
Okay, yeah, that's okay.
That's very Oscar Wilde.
Yeah.
Okay. Your turn.
How strange when an illusion dies, it's as though you've lost a child.
Say it again?
How strange when an illusion dies.
Huh.
It is as though you've lost a child.
Wow, that's funny. Now that reminds me of when I was in Minneapolis after the show. At the end of my show, I said, does anybody have any questions? And I always like asking that because sometimes, you know, people ask something that they genuinely want to know about me. And this girl came up to me after the show and she said, I regretted not asking you this question, but I wanted to ask you, what is the meaning of love? And I said, that's interesting you say that. She said, what would you have said? I said, well, I wish you'd have thrown that out. And I'm glad you came up to me now, because 10 years ago, I would have said, the meaning of love is to allow someone their illusions, because our illusions help us operate in life. You know, issues and problems we have with our family, issues and problems we have with the world, or in relationships. We've created these illusions that allow us to operate in the world. Mm-hmm. And I said that to you years ago when we first started dating, and you said no. The meaning of love is to shatter someone's illusions so that they can become a better person.
Wow, this sounds like a smart girl.
That sounds like the kind of girl you want to marry and hold on to. So I told this girl that, and she was like, wow. And I said, yeah. I go, that's cool that we can talk about it now. But I didn't realize I had that answer loaded and ready to go until you asked me. But yeah, so I think the meaning of love now is like you taught me, to shatter someone's illusions.
The most important part
so
is,
that they can become a better person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all for improvement.
Yes, as we've learned. Okay, do you have any? Okay, here's another quote. This is by Willie Nelson. The early bird gets the worm, but the second mouse gets the cheese. That's funny. The first mouse gets killed in the mouse trap.
Oh, I get it.
But the second
The
mouse,
early bird gets the...
they always say the early bird gets the worm. I'm sure you know how in Holland
Right,
they have old
yeah.
expressions.
But the second mouse gets the cheese.
Yeah.
So what does he mean by that?
That means that, yes, whoever wakes up early,
Oh, right.
the first bird, early bird, gets the worm.
But you get the best.
But the second mouse gets the cheese. The first mouse is going to be killed by the trap, but the cheese is now free to be eaten.
It's just a funny joke, I guess.
Yeah.
Because
It's something only a pot-smoking
I know,
guy
because
like
I
Willie
immediately
Nelson.
thought, oh, pot smoking, sleeping in. Oh, maybe sleeping in is better. Okay, here you go. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
Don't waste any time trying to be like anybody but yourself, because the things that make you strange are the things that make you powerful.
I agree. Amen. Who said that?
Tony winner Ben Platt, quoted in LATimes.com.
Way to go, Tony.
2017 Tony winner.
Great. Okay, this is Henry David Thoreau. Could a greater miracle take place than for us to look through each other's eyes for an instant? Obviously, he was stoned. Okay, one more. Let's have it.
The further a society drifts from the truth, the more it will hate those who speak it.
Amen. Wow, that's the truth. That's the world we're living in right now.
Yes. Do you want to know who said it?
Yeah.
George Orwell.
Wow.
Quoted in the Daily Telegraph.
Wow. George had a good perspective on things. Okay, so this is Edna Buchanan, but I've heard this expression my whole life, and I believe this wholeheartedly. Friends are the family we choose for ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also hear a lot, family are not the people that we want to hang out with.
Yeah, that's it. Your friends are the family that you choose for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Okay, Smoochie. So give us one more and let's play some Bob Dylan.
Okay, I got a funny one.
Yeah.
You would never guess who said this.
Bert and
Okay.
Ernie.
Why you have to
Okay,
heckle my...
I'm sorry.
Okay, people always tell you, be humble, be humble. When was the last time someone told you to be amazing?
Wow. I like that.
It's a good one, huh?
Carrot Top. Who said that?
Kanye West.
No shit. Wow. You just tricked me into giving Kanye West credit for something. That's funny. Well, hopefully Kanye West doesn't move downstairs after these neighbors move out. That would be really annoying. Okay, Smoochie Pop. Well, hey, listeners, roadsies, wherever you're at, hopefully you are experiencing a summer of love and not a summer of hate. And
Happy summer.
Happy
summer is
summertime,
starting. Man. Make it worth. This is your summer.
This is
Just
it, baby.
go for it and own it.
And hey, if you're in Europe, we're heading your way. Be there next week. We'll be sauntering down the Champs-Élysées, boy, you know it.
And come frolicking with us.
All right.
Come frolic with us.
Come frolic with us. All right, Bob. Let's have it.
All right, Tom. Let's close the shop.
Let's do it, Smoochie.
Here we come.
Let's dance around the living room and upset the downstairs neighbors.